Hi everyone, good evening. This is just a quick update on the Abbeywood project. So that project finally came to an end. The builders turned it around in 5 weeks and 2 days, which is a pretty good time considering all the work they had to do. But what enabled them to do it that quickly was the fact that the builders lived on site, which I mean, obviously they were using services, but when you think about the fact that it enabled them to turn it around so quickly, it just doesn't matter to me, to be honest, because the cost of the electricity and gas they would have consumed is minimal when you compare it to what it would cost me for that project to have gone on for 7 to 8 weeks. So, in as much as that enabled them to turn the project around quite quickly, there are certain things you need to look out for if your builders are living on site. The primary one, it's important to know the local authorities and restrictions on working hours when it comes to building, because they all different local authorities have different restrictions. So it's important to know what those restrictions are, because you don't want to fall foul of the local authority laws. I mean, the last thing you want is to come to the attention of the local authorities or to upset your neighbors. You really want your neighbors to be on side when you're doing a development, because if they start making complaints about you, that could really derail your project. I mean, when I buy a property to refurb, I tend to go around to the neighbors and introduce myself to them and give them my number and tell them what I intend to do. I mean, obviously within reason. I don't tell them the full details because some of those neighbors can be nosy. But tell them as much as you need to and let them know it will be noisy, and then you will take them into consideration and then ask them if there are times they would rather you didn't do any noisy jobs and all that. And it just makes your life easier, because the last thing you really need is for the local authority to turn up and stop you from working or give you all sorts of notices and all that. And I tend to usually give the neighbors a drink at the end of the project. But thinking about it now, I think it's probably better to give them the drink at the start of the project, just to keep them on site. So that's vital. So what I'm looking to do at the moment, it's stage the property. And by staging the property, what I mean is I'm going to get in furniture. I'm putting in the property, make it look nice. It's the same concept as show homes. Because when you're buying a new build and you see a show home, they look so attractive, and your that really makes you want to buy the property, and at times pay even more than the property is really worth. So that's what I'm doing at the moment. That also helps to show the prospective buyers exactly how they can live in there, where they can place their furniture. Because when you have a serious buyer that looking at a room, say the sitting room for instance, they're looking at it and wondering, it's my sofa going to fit in here, or or what have you. So you're showing them exactly where the sofa would go, and that way they're able to imagine whether their own furniture would fit in there. And I say, if you have a single bedroom, it's really vital to make sure you put in a bed in there, put in a single bed in there, so they're not left using their imagination and wondering whether this room would really take a single bed. So you do that for them so they can see that straight up. So that's what I'm doing at the moment. Once that is done, then I'll get the estate agents in and they give me a value for the property and put it on the market. The other thing before I forget is important to make that the property look lived in by putting in all sorts of ornaments. So I tend to get my ornaments from the charity shops, and you might think charity shops. The charity shops are, I mean, you can find so much in there when it comes to ornaments. There's one-offs that you wouldn't find anywhere else. There's all sorts of lovely, lovely ornaments you can find in there. But obviously that would mean you probably need to visit quite a few charity shops. Well, you know, I'm quite happy to do that just to make the property look really lovely. So that's what I'm doing right now. Once I've done that, then I will do a video of the finished products. I mean, the property does look nice already. So I know by the time I stage it, it will look even better. And the other thing I mustn't forget is staging a property adds value to your property. You'll be surprised. You know, it can add anything from 5,000 upwards to the cost, to the value of that property. So it's vital when you're trying to sell a property quick and make as much money as you are able to from that property. It's really vital to stage the property. And there are specialists who actually stage properties. I mean, years ago I did use one to stage my property, and after I saw what they had done, I thought to myself, I can do this. I don't see why I need to pay anyone to do it. So what I tend to do, I don't spend too much money. You don't need too much money spent on the furniture. You just need the right pieces. You know, I mean, the sofas I use don't cost me more than £200, and I recycle them. You know, I store them in my garage and then I recycle them. You know, so it's not the cost of the furniture that matters, it's the placement. That's what really counts. The way you place the furniture, no matter how cheap it is, you can make it look expensive just by the placement and the other little bits and bobs, the cushions and stuff like that. You know, so I mean, like something like cushions, it's nice to spend a little bit more, because then the lovely cushion kind of carries the cheap sofa. So it's a mixture of stuff. I mean, personally, I do not spend the furniture and the ornaments I use to stage a property do not cost me up to £5,000. It doesn't matter how big that property is. It just doesn't cost me that much, because I know, you know, the right things I need. I know how to make my money go a long way. So, I mean, these are little things you need to bear in mind if you're staging a property. So, thank you for watching. And as soon as the property is done, as soon as it's all staged and looking very nice, I will then do a full video of that property and upload it so you can all see it and, you know, ask all the questions you would like to. So, thank you for watching, and speak to you again soon. Bye bye.